First contact. The Ziraxian High Command's observation deck buzzed with an unusual energy as Admiral Vexthor studied the holographic projection of a seemingly unremarkable solar system. His silver-scaled skin reflected the soft blue light as he focused on the third planet from its yellow star. Another primitive world, sneered Sub-Commander Zira, her tentacles writhing with dismissive energy. "Why have you called an emergency session, Admiral?" Vexthor's facial ridges tightened, the equivalent of a human smile. "Watch." He gestured to the sensor operator, who input a series of commands. The hologram shifted, displaying a cascade of energy readings that made even the usually composed Zira straighten in surprise. The planet's energy signature pulsed with patterns that defied their understanding. Not primitive at all, but different. Alien in a way that even aliens found alien. "Impossible," whispered Zira. "These readings suggest technology we've never encountered before. But our long-range scans show nothing more advanced than basic satellite systems and a primitive space station." "Precisely." Vexthor's voice carried a note of fascination. "They're hiding something. Our standard detection protocols show a pre-spacefaring civilization. Yet these energy signatures, they speak of capabilities far beyond what we see on the surface." The observation deck fell silent as the implications sank in. The Ziraxian Empire had encountered thousands of civilizations over its 10,000 years of expansion. They had a classification system for everything. Yet this planet, this Earth, defied classification. "We've been monitoring them for 3 lunar cycles," Vexthor continued. "They maintain a fascinating charade of technological limitation. Their visible space program is inefficient, their global communications primitive. Yet beneath it all," he gestured to another set of readings. "Quantum fluctuations, gravitational anomalies, energy patterns that shouldn't exist with their apparent level of technology." A junior analyst raised her hand, her scales shifting from silver to a nervous green. "Could it be natural phenomena, Admiral? The patterns are too precise, too controlled." Vexthor expanded the hologram, highlighting specific energy signatures. "These humans are deliberately masking their true capabilities. The question is, why?" Zira's tentacles coiled thoughtfully. "Perhaps they know of us, have been preparing." "Impossible," declared another officer. "Our stealth systems are perfect. We've never been detected during first contact surveillance." Vexthor's facial ridges tightened again, but this time it wasn't in amusement. "Are we certain of that? These humans, they don't follow any pattern we've encountered before. Their visible technology develops in chaotic bursts rather than the logical progression we see in other species. They maintain archaic systems alongside sophisticated ones. Their military capabilities are particularly interesting." He brought up footage of Earth's militaries. Tanks rolling across deserts, jets screaming through the sky, ships plowing through oceans. "Look closely. What do you see?" The assembled officers studied the images. Finally, Zira spoke. "They're inefficient, wasteful, using fossil fuels when even basic antimatter technology would be cleaner and more powerful. Yet they maintain these systems, pour resources into them. Why?" The question hung in the air until the junior analyst's scales shifted to the purple of revelation. "Deception. They're maintaining a facade." "Exactly." Vexthor zoomed in on various military installations around the planet. "They're hiding their true capabilities in plain sight, behind a curtain of apparent technological limitation. It's brilliant, really. Any potential invader would see an easy target, not worth serious military consideration." The implications sent a wave of color-shifting unease through the assembled officers. If this single planet could hide its true nature so effectively, what else were they capable of? "Your recommendations, Admiral?" Zira asked, her tentacles now perfectly still, a sign of intense focus. "We proceed with extreme caution. No standard first contact protocols. No show of force. We need to understand exactly what we're dealing with before we make any moves." Vexthor's scales shifted to the deep blue of command authority. Prepare a detailed surveillance operation. I want to know everything about these humans, their weaknesses, their true capabilities, and most importantly, why they've gone to such lengths to appear primitive. As the officers filed out to begin their tasks, Vexthor remained at the hologram, studying the rotating image of Earth. In all his centuries of service, he'd never encountered a species that made him feel so uncertain. The humans were either primitive beyond belief or sophisticated beyond comprehension. Either way, he had a growing suspicion that the Zyraxian Empire's first contact with Earth would reshape the galaxy in ways no one could predict. The question was, would they survive the revelation? The assessment. The Zyraxian diplomatic vessel Dawn's Light entered Earth's atmosphere with deliberate slowness, its shields configured to be visible, a calculated show of advanced technology meant to impress. Ambassador Kilara watched the approaching skyline of New York City, her scales shifting through shades of diplomatic purple. "They're not reacting as expected, Ambassador," reported her tactical officer. "No panic. No military response. Their air traffic simply adjusted around us." Kilara's inner eyelids flickered in surprise. Every first contact scenario, they'd run predicted chaos at their arrival. Instead, the humans were treating the appearance of an alien spacecraft like a minor traffic inconvenience. "Their response suggests prior contact," said Security Chief Millar, his scales darkening with concern. "Yet our records show no other civilization has reached this sector." "Unless they reached out," Kilara mused, watching as their ship descended toward a designated landing zone in Central Park. "The question is, to whom?" The landing zone was surrounded by a surprisingly small security presence. A handful of vehicles, a few dozen personnel in dark suits, and a calm crowd held back by simple barriers. No tanks, no missile launchers. Either the humans were foolishly unprepared, or they were very, very confident. As Kilara and her delegation descended the ship's ramp, she noted something else unusual. The humans showed no fear. Curiosity, yes. Interest, certainly, but not the awe or terror common in first contact scenarios. A woman stepped forward from the human delegation. "Ambassador Kilara, I'm Secretary of Global Affairs Elena Martinez. Welcome to Earth." Her smile was practiced, professional, and revealed absolutely nothing. Kilara performed the traditional Zyraxian greeting, her tentacles weaving the complex patterns that conveyed respect and diplomatic authority. "The Zyraxian Empire extends its greetings to humanity. We come seeking peaceful dialogue and mutual understanding." "Of course you do," Martins replied, her smile unchanging. "Though we're curious why you spent 3 months observing us before making contact." The casual revelation of their surveillance struck Kilara like a physical blow. Their stealth technology was supposed to be undetectable. She recovered quickly, her diplomatic training taking over. "Standard protocol for first contact scenarios. We needed to ensure peaceful communication would be possible." "And what did you learn during your observation?" Martins asked as she led them toward a nearby building. The question seemed innocent, but Kilara sensed a trap. "We observed a species on the brink of significant technological advancement." Kilara replied carefully. "The Zyraxian Empire offers guidance and support to emerging civilizations. We could help accelerate your development by centuries." Martinez's laugh was gentle but carried an edge. "That's very kind. But I think we should discuss the real reason for your visit, the energy signatures you detected. The ones that shouldn't exist according to our apparent level of technology." Kilara's scales shifted involuntarily to shock white before she could control herself. The humans hadn't just detected their surveillance. They'd known exactly what the Zyraxians were looking for. They entered a conference room where other human officials waited. Martins gestured to the seats. "Let's be direct, Ambassador. You came here expecting to find a primitive species you could guide, or perhaps control. Instead, you found something you don't understand. That frightens you." "The Zyraxian Empire does not experience fear," Kilara responded automatically, but the words felt hollow. "Everyone experiences fear, Ambassador," said a new voice. An older human male stepped forward from the shadows. "I'm Director Chen of Global Defense, and right now you're afraid because you've realized your empire's greatest nightmare. A civilization that developed along lines you never imagined possible." Kilara's diplomatic mask cracked slightly. "You speak as if you're advanced beyond us, yet we see no evidence of this. No massive space fleet, no planetary shields, no quantum arrays." "No," Martinez agreed. "You don't see those things, just as we didn't see your ships until we chose to reveal that we could." Interesting, isn't it? The implications hung in the air like a blade. Humanity hadn't just detected their surveillance. They'd chosen to let it continue, had perhaps even manipulated what the Ziraxians saw. "What do you want?" Kilara asked, abandoning pretense. "Want?" Martinez shared a look with Chen. "We don't want anything from you, Ambassador. We're simply establishing facts. Your empire discovered Earth and thought you found a primitive species to guide or subjugate. Instead, you found something else entirely. The question is, what are you going to do with that information?" As Kilara looked around the room, she realized with growing unease that this wasn't a first contact meeting. It was a demonstration. Every casual revelation of human capability, every subtle hint at hidden power, was carefully choreographed. The humans weren't trying to impress them. They were warning them. And somewhere in the back of her mind, Kilara wondered if the Ziraxian Empire had made a terrible mistake in coming to Earth at all. Humanity's stand. The Ziraxian High Council chamber erupted in chaos as Ambassador Kilara's report concluded. Her scales had remained shock-white throughout the entire presentation, a visible sign of her continued distress. "Impossible," roared Council Elder Vrix, his massive form looming over the central platform. "No species could have hidden such advancement. Our protocols are perfect." Supreme Commander Zarkax raised a calming hand, his ancient scales shimmering with wisdom gold. "Clearly, they are not. Ambassador Kilara's evidence is concerning." The holographic display showed footage from the Earth meeting. Director Chen's casual revelation of humanity's quantum detection grid. Secretary Martinez's demonstration of their matter phase technology. Most disturbing of all, the simple tablet device that had completely blocked all Ziraxian scanning attempts. "They let us see exactly what they wanted us to see," Kilara said, her voice steady despite her scale color. "And I believe they've been doing it for centuries." The council chamber fell silent as a new hologram appeared. Historical analysis of Earth's technological development. What had seemed like chaotic, inefficient progress now revealed itself as something else entirely. "Look here," Kilara pointed. "Their space program. Primitive chemical rockets, decades spent going nowhere. Yet we found evidence of quantum fluctuations around their planet dating back to this same period. They weren't struggling with spaceflight. They were creating a cover story." "But why?" demanded Vrix. "Why hide their true capabilities?" A new voice answered, Admiral Vexfor, entering the chamber. "Because they knew we were coming. Not us specifically, but someone. They've been preparing for first contact for generations." He brought up new data streams. "We've detected similar energy signatures from 1,000 other points in their history. Moments where advanced technology briefly flickered into view before being hidden again. Their entire civilization is a carefully constructed deception. Then we must act." Vrix slammed his ceremonial staff against the floor. "If they have been deceiving us, preparing for conflict." "They're not preparing for conflict," Kilara interrupted, her scales shifting to warning red. "They're prepared for it, have been for longer than we can detect. Everything we've seen has been a message. Do not test us." As if to punctuate her words, every display in the chamber suddenly activated, showing the same image, a live feed from Earth. Secretary Martinez stood at a podium, addressing not just her planet, but clearly the Ziraxian Empire as well. "For centuries, humanity has watched the stars, knowing we were not alone," she began. We saw the ruins of ancient conflicts, the remnants of civilizations that reached too far, too fast. We learned. We adapted. We prepared. The camera pulled back, revealing she stood in a vast underground chamber. Behind her, rows of ships unlike anything the Ziraxians had ever seen hung in quantum cradles, weapons platforms that defied their understanding of physics, technology that shouldn't exist. We hid our true nature not out of fear, but wisdom, Martinez continued. We built our strength in secret, developed our technology along paths no other species considered. We maintained our primitive facade because we saw how your empire treated advanced civilizations, as rivals to be conquered or vassals to be subjugated. The council watched in stunned silence as more chambers were revealed. Each contained technology that bypassed centuries of Ziraxian development, taking entirely different paths to similar or superior results. We are not your enemies, Martinez declared, but we will never be your subjects. Earth stands ready to join the galactic community as equals, nothing less. The choice of how to proceed is yours. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in darkness. After a long moment, Supreme Commander Zarkak spoke, his scales now showing the deep blue of profound realization. We thought we found a primitive world to guide, he said softly. Instead, we found humanity. And they have been guiding us all along, guiding us to this moment, this choice. Admiral Vexthor's scales shifted to match the Supreme Commander's. The question is no longer what we will do about Earth. The question is, what will Earth do about us? The demonstration. The Ziraxian Empire made its decision 3 days later. Unfortunately, it was the wrong one. Supreme Commander Zarkax had been outvoted. The military faction, led by the hawkish Elder Vrix, had convinced enough council members that humanity's show of force was nothing but an elaborate bluff. After all, how could any civilization hide such advancement? It had to be deception, holograms, clever misdirection, nothing more. The Ziraxian battle fleet emerged from quantum space near Jupiter, 5,000 ships strong. A show of force meant to remind humanity of its true place in the galaxy. They found Earth's Secretary Martinez waiting for them, her image projected into every Ziraxian ship simultaneously. Their best encryption meant nothing. Their most secure channels were an open book. I see the Empire has made its choice, she said, genuine sadness in her voice. Very well. Allow us to demonstrate why we kept our capabilities hidden for so long. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The fleet continued its advance toward Earth. Elder Vrix, commanding from the flagship, allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. You see, their technology was nothing but. He never finished the sentence. Throughout the fleet, quantum drives simply stopped, not damaged or destroyed. They simply ceased to exist, as if they'd never been installed. 5,000 ships reduced to drifting hulks in an instant. That was our phase shift technology, Martinez explained, as if giving a lecture. We didn't disable your drives. We shifted them into a parallel quantum state. They still exist, just elsewhere. Don't worry, life support and artificial gravity remain functional. Panic erupted across the fleet as weapons systems followed the same fate. Then communications, then sensors, each disappearing without trace or damage, leaving the mighty Ziraxian armada blind, deaf, and helpless. We could have done this at any time during your 3 months of observation, Martinez continued. We could have shifted your entire civilization's technology into quantum parallel. But that's not who we are. We wanted peace. We still do. A new set of readings appeared on the few functioning screens remaining in the fleet. Energy signatures unlike anything the Ziraxians had ever encountered began appearing throughout the solar system. Hidden facilities on every planet and moon revealed themselves. Quantum arrays that made Ziraxian technology look primitive by comparison powered up. Defense systems beyond their comprehension activated. Humanity chose to develop differently than other species, Martinez explained. While you focused on quantum drives, We explored phase technology. While you built bigger weapons, we learned to shift matter between states of reality. While you expanded across the galaxy, we went deep, exploring roads not taken, paths abandoned by other civilizations. The image shifted, showing the true Earth for the first time. The seemingly primitive planet was revealed as the heart of a vast, hidden network of advanced technology. What had appeared to be simple satellites were nodes in a solar system-spanning quantum web. Their basic space station was the visible tip of a massive phase-shifted defensive platform. "We hid this from you not out of fear, but hope," Martine said. "Hope that when we finally met other civilizations, they would choose cooperation over conquest, understanding over dominance. We still maintain that hope." With another thought, she restored the fleet's quantum drives and basic systems, enough to return home, but nothing more. "Return to your empire," she commanded. "Tell them what you've seen. Tell them that humanity stands ready to share our knowledge, to explore the galaxy together as equals, or tell them to stay away from Earth. The choice, as always, remains yours." As the chastened fleet began its long journey home, Admiral Vexthor turned to Ambassador Kilara, both of their scales showing the deep purple of profound respect. "We thought we were coming to guide them," he said softly. "But all along, they were waiting to see if we were worthy of their guidance instead." A new order. 6 months after the Jupiter incident, the Great Hall of Harmony on Earth hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from every major galactic civilization sat alongside human delegates, the Grand Chamber a testament to humanity's unique approach to interstellar architecture, a seamless blend of ancient wisdom and quantum engineering. Supreme Commander Zarkax, now serving as the Ziraxian Empire's chief diplomat, stood at the central podium. His scales shimmered with the gold of profound change as he addressed the assembly. "We came to Earth believing we would find primitives to guide," he began. "Instead, we found teachers we desperately needed. The humans showed us not just new technologies, but new ways of thinking." The assembled delegates murmured in agreement. In the months since humanity's revelation, their phase-shift technology and quantum parallel theories had revolutionized galactic science. But more importantly, their philosophy of hidden strength and measured response had sparked a cultural revolution. Secretary Martinez took the podium next. "Humanity hid our achievements not out of fear, but because we saw in the stars a pattern we wished to break, the cycle of discovery, conquest, and resistance that had shaped galactic politics for millennia. We chose a different path." She gestured to the massive windows showing Earth below, now proudly displaying its true face. The quantum arrays that had remained hidden for centuries gleamed in the sunlight, their energy patterns forming beautiful auroras in the upper atmosphere. "Our development was not superior," Martins continued, "merely different. We explored paths others abandoned, studied methods others dismissed. While the galaxy raced outward, we went inward, deeper, seeking understanding before expansion." The holographic displays showed the new reality: human phase-shift technology being adapted for peaceful purposes throughout the galaxy. Quantum parallel theory revolutionizing everything from medicine to agriculture. The hidden paths humanity had explored now opening new frontiers for all species. "Today, we formalize a new approach to galactic civilization," Martins declared. "Not an empire, not a federation, but a concordat of equals, each species bringing their unique perspectives and discoveries to benefit all." Elder Vrix, who had opposed humanity so fiercely just months ago, rose to speak. His scales now showed the blue of wisdom learned through humility. "The humans could have conquered us," he admitted. "Their technology could have reduced our empire to pre-industrial status with a thought. Instead, they chose to teach, to share, to elevate. This is true power, not the ability to destroy, but the wisdom to build." The signing ceremony that followed was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had warred for millennia now pledged cooperation. The human approach: strength hidden beneath humility, power tempered by wisdom, became the new model for galactic civilization. As the ceremony concluded, Ambassador Kilara approached Secretary Martins privately. "There's still one question you never answered," she said. "How did humanity develop so differently? What made you choose this path?" Martinez smiled. "We learned from history, both our own and what we observed in the stars. We saw that visible power invites challenge, that obvious strength breeds resistance. But more than that, we learned that true advancement comes not from following established paths, but from exploring the roads not taken." She gestured to the celebration around them. The galaxy raced to the stars, building bigger ships, stronger weapons, faster drives. Humanity asked different questions. What lies between quantum states? What exists in parallel to our reality? How can we advance without creating fear? And now, Kilara asked, her scales showing genuine curiosity. "Now we all ask these questions together," Martins replied. "The age of hidden strength is over. The age of shared discovery begins." As the celebrations continued into the night, ships from 100 worlds danced through Earth's quantum arrays, their crews learning the paths humanity had discovered. And in libraries and laboratories across the galaxy, a new generation began exploring the roads not taken, guided by the species that had chosen to hide its light until the galaxy was ready to share its illumination. The Zyraxian Empire's worst mistake, discovering Earth, had become the galaxy's greatest fortune. In seeking to conquer what they thought was primitive, they had instead found humanity in all its hidden glory. And the galaxy would never be the same.